Hey, and we're live. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Hope you're all well. Hope if you're in the UK or Europe or anywhere that's hot, you're doing okay in the heat, because yeah, it's pretty wild out there at the minute. So, where are we? We are in San Francisco, or SFO as it's sometimes referred to. Just taxiing down to runway 28 left, I believe. And we're going to take off, sort of heading northwest-ish, basically in the direction that the runway will fire us out over San Francisco. Probably won't get all the way up to what is widely considered to be San Francisco. Is it Daly City? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. That sort of area. The south bit for San Francisco. If you've ever taken the train from the airport into the city, is it what they call it? The BART. That's it. It's kind of where the train goes along before it hits the city. Yay. Let's just have a quick check over before we head on out. Flight plans loaded. Flaps set to position 1. That's all good. Got the right amount of fuel. 5,330 kilos. Speed, we'll put that at 210 just to get us started. Cruise altitude is 37,000, but we'll take direction from air traffic on the way up. They may want to stage us going up to that, that's fine. Right, I think we're good. Go and get lined up. Alright, there you go, so you can see from our flight plan, we'll go up, do a bit of a, not quite a 180, but not far from it, and start heading south down to San Diego. Should be about an hour and a half, wheels up, wheels down. Right, I say we get gone. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Get that auto throttle engaged. Throttle levers in the climb gate, which is where we want them. And we engage the autopilot. Start making that turn right about now. cloud going on there. I wonder, will we be able to see San Francisco? Not quite. Obscured by some cloud, I think. It's kind of back there. There's the Golden Gate. Golden Gate would be around there. Alcatraz, where would that be? There-ish. And there is where we took off from. That one there. How are we doing? 6,000 feet. Good, good, good. Temperature is good. Could probably go to 220 actually. So, where are we? Almost 10,000. Almost, almost, almost. At which point, we will get rid of those flaps. Set speed to managed. The aircraft will take care of its own speed now. Able to push past 250 because we're above 10,000. ATC seem to be quite happy for us to keep climbing up to 37,000. There we go, so the plane's setting itself at 290. I think the plane's more or less set up at this point. We'll enjoy some views and check into the cockpit in a couple of minutes. So it probably wouldn't be a bad time, because it is a relatively short flight. Wouldn't be a bad idea to start planning our descent. Entirely sure why it's done that. Flight level 370 down to 2000 and then back to 370 in the space of 1 minute. I think that's not right, is it? So I think the sensible thing to do would be to 70, so that's the actual airport. We'll take this as our reference. (2,000 feet by 1901 UTC. Which means we need to drop 35,000 feet at 2,000 feet per minute, about 17.5 minutes. So counting back from 1900, we're also going to need to drop a lot of speed as well. So we should probably call it around 20 minutes. So 1840 UTC, which is basically when we hit the LAX waypoint. That's actually quite convenient. When we hit LAX, time to start descending. That makes sense. Cool. That's simpler than I thought. Goody goody. Almost at cruise now. Another. What are we climbing at? Yeah, another 4 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes we'll be there. That's perfect. So I think what I'll do, I'll pipe down for a little bit, let you guys enjoy the cruise and the views. I'll put a poll up. So we'll go for... what should we go for? We'll go for this view for a bit. I'll put a poll up. You can vote for the next view in 10 or 15 minutes time. I'll leave you all to it for a bit. Enjoy. Well, it certainly looks like the people have spoken. 100% for the cockpit. Fair enough. Let's just have a quick check-in on the flight plan, see where we are. So, this is the important waypoint, LAX. That is more or less where we're going to start our descent down into San Diego. That should time us perfectly if we start around there. So we should get there at 18:37 UTC. So probably another 20 minutes or so. Cool. Right. You're not wrong at all. You're not wrong. The game is an absolute marvel in my opinion. It's quite amazing they pulled it off, really. It's if I'm recalling right, I think Microsoft took a load of their Bing Maps data, including satellite imagery, elevation data, all that stuff, and they kind of threw it at their supercomputer. Is it Azure? Their sort of cloud computing service. They sort of threw it at that, and then generated the world. So as we then fly around it, it streams it in. So my PC that has the game installed does not have the entire world downloaded onto it. It kind of streams it as you fly around. It's just incredible, absolutely incredible. Oh, that's interesting. I've heard some people say they had a really good experience on the Xbox. I think some of it depends on where you fly as well. I think some parts of the world naturally look more impressive graphically than others. And I'm not sure why that is. I think in general the game struggles with cliffs, because the elevation data is there, but the satellite imagery just sort of wraps around the edge of the cliff, and it can sometimes look a bit weird. And on the vertical plane of the cliff, if you like, it all looks a bit stretched. It's one of those where it looks brilliant as long as you don't start looking too closely. You know, New York City looks amazing from a distance, but if you were to jump in a helicopter, or that drone thing that's on the game now, whatever that is, and you were to fly right next to the Empire State Building or whatever, it doesn't look so good up close, you know? Should probably check where we are. We're not far out, are we? 78 miles from LAX, which is our next waypoint. We get to the LAX waypoint. We're not landing at LAX, just to be clear. We're going to fly over LAX, and at that point we're going to start our descent into San Diego. I've been flying. Depends what you mean. I don't actually fly in real life. The first... I mean, this is going way back now. 36 minutes ago. Yeah, I suppose that question could be interpreted two different ways, couldn't it? As to when I started Flight Sim, the first Flight Sim I had was Microsoft Flight Simulator 2000. I think it was 2000. It had a picture of Concorde on the box. That's when you had to go to a shop and buy a big cardboard box that came with a big fat instruction manual inside and like 4 discs. Those were the days, huh? Yeah, you're more or less spot on. I did a short taxi to the runway, maybe like 2 minutes. feel like I need to practice in the 747 a little bit more. Because then that kind of opens up some long haul options. I haven't been in the A320 for so long, and the 747 feels weird. In on the flight plan. 55 miles to go to LAX. Then it's really not far. Next waypoint. So if we flick, come out of arc, go into plan. Sort of show you our approach. So that's us at the minute. Well, that's the last waypoint we crossed, Mickey. Which I guess must have something to do with Mickey Mouse? Maybe? Is that where Walt Disney World or Land is? The one that's in California? Don't know. Anyway, here's us. This is LAX where we're heading. We're going to fly right over LAX and start our descent once we get to LAX. If I've calculated it correctly, that will take us all the way down to San Diego. We'll do a big wide turn. To show you a bit more detail. Big wide turn to the right, and we'll come alongside the airport, and a final tighter turn to bring us onto final approach, and we'll come in on the ILS, which hopefully is, if we go to RadNav, yeah, ILS frequency, it's all programmed in. So when the time comes, we can just hit the LS button. Stands for landing system. Probably when we get to about here, and we'll get our diamonds appear here and here, and they'll guide us in. I mean, we could just press that approach button, and it should take us all the way down for a landing, if we wanted it to. But frankly, it's really not that fun to do that. That's kind of begs the question, like, what's the point in playing it at all if you're not going to land? That's kind of like the main bit, isn't it? At the moment, we are just north of Los Angeles. See if we can. I do believe that there to be LAX. And what would all this along here be? Not being a native Californian, my geography isn't that great on this area, but would that be like Malibu, and or is that further back? I'll check on the tablet, that might show us. But let's zoom in anymore. Thousand Oaks, wherever that is. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Somewhere north of LA. Not entirely sure where the Hollywood sign would be. LA is vast. Real vast. Go and take a look outside. Touch. Right, yeah, so there's LAX. Which actually means you need to start thinking about preparing for our descent. Because, where are we? 9 miles out. So these little rings, 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles. Really not far. Not far. Back to the flight plan. Be the LAX waypoint. So we're going to do this in stages. We've got to get down to 2,000 feet. $163 miles to our destination. Takes down to 12,000 to start with. Do it at 2,000 feet per minute. So this should start to, yeah, there we go. It should settle at 2,000 here. The plane is ready. ILS, runway 9, that's all good. let the plane take care of business and take in all the views. Thank you, by the way, to everyone that's hit that like button. That is the one way you can really help the stream. It really does help. Such a massive amount. So thank you to all those that have. I think as a user of YouTube, it's almost like that's your little superpower right there, is that like button. If you see anyone on YouTube doing anything that closely resembles a good job, chuck them a like. Because YouTube can be a real grind sometimes. There's a lot of people that put a lot of work in, but their videos just don't get surfaced to people. But that like button, giving them those likes, that can help a huge amount. I always try to. Always try to leave a like. We're on a bit of a slightly different schedule this week. I was throwing a bit of a curveball with childcare. Usually I try and do some streams in the daytime, which I think, having asked the people that were in them, a lot of people have this kind of stuff on while they're at work, or while they're studying, or yeah, that kind of thing. Almost like a bit of ambient background, white noise, chill sort of content. But this week, unexpectedly, things are a bit different on my end, so having to do the evening shifts in my local time in the UK. Hopefully next week start to get a little bit more back to normal to the latter part of the week. Maybe even start doing some long haul stuff. Let's have a little check in here. About halfway down. That's a funny looking thing over there. That is, however, the airport. Far to go. Really not far to go now, actually. So around we go, and around. Zoom this in a little bit. Oops, where am I going? Right, we need to start thinking about dropping some speed. Because we're doing well on the altitude front. So to get down to 3,000, which is more or less where we want to be for final. $20,000 feet. Difference of 17,000 feet at 2,000 feet a minute. 8.5 minutes. Doing bad. Not doing bad. It's going to bring us round, all the way around to the right, and then a quick hook around to the left. Plenty of time. Just want to be staying ahead of the aircraft. Don't want to get ourselves in a position where we're going too fast or we're too high and then you have to start making silly decisions. We want to be ahead of the aircraft. I do believe San Diego Airport is... I want to say it's there. So in about 3 minutes time we need to make sure we are at or below 250 knots. So we're going to be crossing 10,000 feet. I imagine the plane is going to struggle to do that while maintaining its descent, so we'll pop out some speed brakes. those out now, you can see them come out the wing. There we go. Should just help us get that speed under control. Very gradually. See, it's falling. So once we get our speed down to here, 230, or below 230, that's when we're safe to start popping out the flaps. How long have we been flying? Well, I've been streaming for 1 hour and 3 minutes. And I would estimate 2 or 3 minutes of that was taxi. So about an hour. About an hour. Let's start to bring that speed down a little bit more. Love the name, by the way. Captain Chicken. Not far to go now. Get those speed brakes away. Should be okay from here, I think. We're making good progress through the descent, so we're going to hold at 7,000. Make a couple of turns, or make a turn. As you can see, we're going to do a turn, another turn, and then back in. Almost like a paper clip. We'll use that time while we're at 7,000 and flying on the level to get our speed under control. Good, 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 good. That speed's come under control now because we finished that first part of the descent. So, the next little line here, 200 knots. Get ourselves down to 200. Maybe we'll go 195. Just beneath it. 10 miles, we're going to do our turn. So 1859. Going to be landed. Should be fine. Let's get that speed under control first, though, eh? Keep nibbling away at that speed. Okay. Got down to 3,000, go at 1,600 feet a minute. That should be plenty of time. Absolutely plenty of time. We'll come around. I think by the time we get to around about here, we'll drop per. Good. Good. So the airport. Is there? Oh no. Is it that one or is it that one? I don't know now. Starting to doubt myself. I'm going to go with that one. Yeah, it has to be right. Yeah. Find my perception of distance at altitude. It can get very strange. Almost at 3,000 now. Be starting that turn any second, I hope. Yeah. Just the altimeter. There we go. So let's use this time to drop off that last. So we'll go for an approach speed of 140. Auto brake to medium. Spoilers are armed. So if I put the landing system on now, there you go, look. As you can see, 3,000 feet, we're more or less intercepting the glide slope anyway. We are slightly beneath it, because that diamond, I'm sure most of you know this, but for those that don't, that diamond represents the glide slope, and it is higher than us. We just carry on at 3,000 feet, eventually that will intercept it. It'll gradually come down. Similarly, as we do this turn that's coming up, this diamond should come along. Window. Perfect. There it comes. So if I put the approach mode on, just out of interest. Will the plane? Yes, it will. those frequencies were input correctly, that's always good. So, descent rate of about 1,300 feet a minute, which is generally not what we want, but I think it's just trying to compensate. So now it's levelling at about 800-900 feet per minute, which is precisely where we want it to be. And there we are, look, there's a runway. So it's one of those really where the plane could literally just bring us in.
2,500.
Thank you, computer. Yeah. It's not all that fun just to let the computer do it. And I think there are probably a few people watching, if they're completely honest, maybe hoping for a bit of a crash landing if I attempt it myself, so not wanting to be one to disappoint. We'll disconnect autopilot. There it goes. So I'm now in control of the plane, but you can see I don't really need to do anything. The plane can hold its angle. The wind is almost precisely blowing us along, so there's no crosswind to speak of. If there were, we might be drifting here on this diamond. I mean, that wind's not going to be exactly straight. You can see it is slowly. Just bring us round just a touch. Go. Everything's looking good.
1,000.
Gear down. I hope I don't mess it up now. Feel the wheels. Affecting the handling of the plane there.
500.
Being a little bit shallow.
400. 300.
What you can really feel the terrain affecting the performance of the plane. Right. Come on, don't mess it up.
200.
People watching.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Oh, that was good. Versus. That last little bit felt a little bit on the wobbly side. Maybe that, where it went 500, 400, 300, that was less than ideal, not gonna lie. I feel like that was rescued quite well, if I dare say so myself. Right, let's get in here next to Sir, indeed. Yeah, I was quite happy with that towards the end. The mid to final wasn't great. Ever since dropping the gear, the plane started to feel a bit weird. And you could really feel the, I guess it was the terrain, the air from the terrain underneath. As you started to get lower, you could really feel yourself being knocked about a bit. So what I thought was going to be quite a simple approach turned out not to be. That was actually quite challenging towards the end. But that's good. That's why we play. That's why we keep doing it, trying to get better. You know, I don't profess to be an expert. I'm just here learning as I go, having a good time doing it, sharing it with you all. You know, if you think you know better, by all means, I want to hear from you. You know, let's learn from each other. That's the best way. That's how it should work. Anyway, I thank you all so much for being here. Genuinely, it really means a lot. Yeah, it still boggles my mind that this can be a thing. Yeah, I stream flights in flights and people come along to watch. It's pretty cool. As for when we're on next, what are we on now? Tuesday evening. It will be Thursday evening. Not sure where we're going to go yet. Not sure at all. Should have about 2.5 hours, 3 to do the stream. So potentially go a bit further than we've done today. Anyway, I'll think about it. Thank you all for being here. Genuinely, it means the world. And look after yourselves, and I'll see you on Thursday. Take care.